Hey YouTubers, this is going to be a quick review on a watch that I've had it for a while, maybe a year. It is an Invicta. It is a 4463 model. It's called a Pro Diver. It's a reserve model. It's a certified chronometer. If you're not familiar with that, it just means it's a more accurate automatic movement than typical. It is a Swiss movement. It's a Soletta 200. I think it's an SW 200, but not exactly sure. But it is a 200 series Soletta movement, which is a 28 joule movement, and has a sapphire crystal in the front and on the back. I don't know if you're able to see that movement, but it is exposed, which I like, and it's got a screw down backing, which I also like. It's rated at up to 500 meters on a dive. It has a ratcheting bezel that moves in one direction, so I guess it's a uni bezel. It has a cyclops, which shows the date magnified. Don't know how many times it's magnified. Apologize for that red dot that I'm just noticing right now. This is a relatively new camera. It's a, or a camcorder, I guess you call it. It's a Kodak ZI-8. Actually, this is really one of the reasons why I'm doing this video. I'm trying it out, see how this thing shows up. But it has that red dot, I notice, and there's no way of turning it off, so it's kind of annoying already. Anyhow, this is a 44 millimeter size. It's a larger watch than normal, but it fits perfect on my wrist, and I think it looks good on pretty much any wrist. Looks certainly better than that 40 millimeter Rolex size, but obviously this has the look of that Rolex, with the Mercedes hands and the ratcheting bezel that has the coin edge. It's very Rolex looking, but reason that I bought it is if you've ever checked one of these out, I know Invicta makes a lot of low-end watches, and actually they're really good low-end watches because they last a long time as far as I'm concerned, and my experience has been. But the features on this watch, that being the sapphire crystal on the front and on the back, you don't find that with a lot of watches in this price range. This one was $800, and I know you're thinking, well, that's a hell of a lot of money for a Invicta, but when you think about it, you can't get the features that are on this watch on anything less than $1,500. In fact, I don't even think you can get it for $1,500. And believe me, I've looked. I own Omegas, and I wanted to buy an Omega Seamaster, but it's $2,600 for the base model, and it isn't as good as this. I know the movement. I know a lot of you guys might disagree with what I'm saying, but believe me, I know a little bit about watches, and I have done my homework, and I know what features make up the cost of a watch, or I think I do at least. And some of the features that are on this watch, and I'll go over a couple of them. This bracelet on this watch is far superior to that of a Rolex. If you've seen a Rolex, they have these cheap, they're not cheap, but they just are old style. They're not very good clasps. They're very old style, like an old Omega. But if you look at a new Omega, they have a very, very nice clasp, much like this. High-end, very functional, made of good quality. It's all just stainless steel, but it has screw-down pins in the bracelet, which you'll find on the higher-end watches, and you won't on most of your watches. It's got a push butterfly clasp, which is solid, and like I said, the case back is screw down, which means it's sealed more so than the screw off type that you unscrew counterclockwise. This one has these screws that completely screw the entire case back down. It is certified chronometer, and you're not going to find any Omega certified chronometer unless you spend over $3,000. You can check into that. And same with no Rolex you're going to find for $3,000, so you can forget about that. It has a screw down crown. Now I will say that this screw down crown isn't as smooth as a Rolex or an Omega, but it works. And that's one of the features that I thought they could do better on, that being Invicta can do better on, is get a better screw down crown, a smoother feeling screw. This is a little gritty, and that's characteristic of Invicta. It has the sweep hand, as you can see, and every second it sweeps 8 times. I don't know what a Rolex sweeps, but this one sweeps 28,000 beats per hour. And so if you divide that out, I think you'll come out with 8 ticks per second. But I'm very happy with the watch. It has a nice look. Some of the things I don't like about most of the Invictas is right here, I guess on the bottom or side, however you look at it. Most of the Invictas say Invicta, and I don't like that. This one doesn't. I like it's a little more subtle. Most of the Invictas have these wings, where this one says Invicta Reserve. It has these wings, and that's kind of telltale for Invicta as well. Plus, the logo on the top is an I with a R kind of combination, meaning it's a Invicta Reserve. I like it. It looks kind of different than most of the other watches, but I don't like the manufacturer emboss their logos or their name too much on any watch. I just think the more subtle you can be, the better. Anyhow, 4463, like I said, these aren't made anymore. If you can find one, you should get it if you like Invicta, because they don't make them. They're not going to make them, and the reason that they don't make this anymore is because for the price that they were charging, they were actually breaking even with the cost that they had to put into the watch, which tells you the components that they use for the watch are not inexpensive, and certainly not for a certified chronometer. And I know some of you might be thinking you should have turned those dials at the 10 and 2 like anybody else who does a watch review. Well, I wear this, so that's the time it is right now, so that's why I haven't changed anything. But very happy with the watch. I expect it to last for many years to come. And like I said, I have other Omega Seamasters that I stopped wearing because I'm so happy with this on a day-to-day, as a day-to-day watch rather. And it comes with a 5-year warranty, which goes beyond, sorry about that, goes beyond what Rolex or Omega have as their warranty. So that is another factor that I was very impressed with. It sits high up on the wrist, as you can see. Maybe too high for some of you, but it's more like, I'd say, sea dweller like, if you're used to seeing Rolex or the earlier type of Omega Seamasters. Kind of sits thick on the wrist, but I like it. So, oops, sorry about that. I can get used to the little tripod that I have for this camera. But that's a little review on the 4463 Invicta Pro Diver Certified Chronometer watch. Tell me what you think. I like it. You guys take care.